Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you with yet another one-goal game out of the map Daybreak. Spawning up here in the top right-hand corner, we do have LexMillea as the red Zerg, and down here in the bottom of the left-hand corner, we do have our opponent, with Kallen as the blue Terran, and I kind of said her just because I assumed that LexMillea is a girl name. I don't know, it just sounds like a girl name, to be honest. That's just what I'm going for, so I'm just going to say, you know what? Totally a female player. Plus, I feel like more people will stay if they think that. And, you know, that would just be awesome. It looks like we have both of our players having a little bit of a conversation about this game mode. Now, of course, it is a very unique game mode. It's a lot different than, you know, the standard StarCraft 2. There's a lot of different units that are out there and a lot of different combinations that are viable, and it's very cool, very interesting. It's something that's definitely the metagame for it is building and rapidly evolving as we go down the line, and it's going to be very exciting to see where that goes from here. We have both of our players going for reasonably standard builds that you would see at this point in basically any metagame. I mean, there's no really fast spawning pool out of LexMillea. Kallen's going for a 12 racks, which is a little bit fast, but it's standard, I would say. I mean, it's nothing super duper crazy. It looks like we do have the 14 pool coming out for LexMillea, which is reasonably what I would expect, because actually early pressure from Terran currently is strong-ish. I mean, it's reasonably powerful. The bio units are actually quite nice right now. The mech units are very much better than they used to be, but bio is still a very strong early pressure kind of unit. It would appear that we do have LexMillea going for reasonably fast gas at this point, so we are going to see a factory coming up probably very rapidly after at least the orbital command finishes. I mean, this is really early gas, actually, which doesn't surprise me, because the higher you get in tech currently as a Terran player, in one goal, the just way more powerful you become, because factory, like spider or widow mines, and just in general the factory is a very strong thing, especially Diamondbacks when you're faced with a position where you need to fight off air units, because they are like the anti-air champions currently. They're so freaking cool, those units. They're basically siege tanks, except when they siege mode, they shoot air instead of shooting ground, and it's really cool to watch. It looks like we do have LexMillea producing quite a few Zerglings at this point. 6 of them now moving out across the map, which is, that's a lot of Zerglings. It's a lot of Zerglings to pop out in your first wave, especially. Okay, no, it's just gonna be 6, but that's still quite a few to send out in your opening like scouting wave. I guess it could be for base denial primarily, but you don't need 6 lings for that. You need like 4, and even then that could be a little bit much. It looks like they are going to peek up the top of the ramp, but they are going to be shut down by the Marines. So we have both of our players just kind of moving into their standard gameplays. We have the hatchery coming out from LexMillea. No command center currently on the way for Kallen, but he is building up quite a few minerals, so it's probably going to be coming up at basically any point, unless he's just planning on transitioning right into some unit production off his factory. Now, of course, he will be able to produce both Hellions and Widow Mines at this point. Hellions are, of course, able to turn into Hellbats in this game mode. Hellbats do currently exist there. The command center does start going down. And what's the form that Hellbats use? Did they actually get the model from the HOTS beta? Because that looks like a HOTS Hellbat. I don't know. It's kind of, that would be cool if they actually managed to lift that, because I know the Viper and the Swarm Host, I do believe, are different units. I know at least the Swarm Host is using the Lurker skin currently, and I think that the Viper is using some other skin. I forget what that actually is called, but it's definitely not the actual Viper skin. It looks like we do have 2 Hellions getting ready to move out across the map. This is, of course, a reactor factory. He is building up a second factory as well, but no armory currently on the way, so we are not going to see Hellbat plays starting up. And now with 4 Hellions out on the field, he will be able to roast and toast a lot of these Zerglings moving up into the main base. There are, of course, 2 Queens and the Spine Crawler currently up for LexMillea, so this should be a reasonably easy hold for our Zerg player. The Terran player is going to play a bit aggressively with these Hellions. He does want to get into engagement with his Queen, and it's going to be able to do quite a lot of damage to his main force before it has to fall back, and as soon as it falls back, and as soon as it falls back into that other queen and the spine crawler range, it should be a reasonably easy thing to hold, especially because this queen can really kind of just sit back and Marv inject, but it would appear that it's not going to do so. LexMillea is doing very nicely, staying up on their injects. We do have 6 Hellions currently out for our blue Terran player, which is still not too much of a scary threat. I would not be surprised to see Infernal Pre-Igniter starting now. And oh, there's actually there's an upgrade to allow Widow Mines to burrow faster. That's kind of cool. We do have 1 Widow Mine currently on the way. It's coming out of the no, it's coming out of the reactor one. I'm surprised that he's not producing anything out of the tech lab factory, but not really, because he's only producing 1 unit at this point. It looks like we have 6 of the Hellions now poking up into the main base. So everyone gets sniped off reasonably easy. That queen does take quite a big hit. There is no queen currently with the transfuse out. However, these two are just about to hit those transfuse ranges, so you know there's gonna be them quite soon. I mean, yeah, they're at like 47 energy. So transfuses are about to go down on these units in just a matter of seconds. There we do have a transfuse, and so yeah, we have the queen starting to stabilize. We have no economic damage currently done to the Zerg player, which is quite important considering the fact that this Terran player did not go nearly as heavily into the economy as his Zerg opponent did. I mean, it's 48 to 30, which is a little bit lopsided. Actually, it's a lot of it lopsided. It looks like we do have the Widow Mine currently burrowed, and that is going to be quite annoying. It's going to cause a bit of a lockdown to this Zerg force, and I'm surprised that the Terran player hasn't already started to bait, or at least try to bait the queens into range of that Widow Mine. Oh, looks like the Widow Mine's walking close, and oh my god, these things do so much damage. 120. He did manage to blow it off before it actually, you know, really did anything. And there's the second burrow from the Widow Mine. He is going to be trying to get these guys into range of these 2 Widow Mines, but it's going to be a little bit awkward. This first one is almost already done reloading, so we are going to see another 120 damage blast. But with some nice positioning on the Overseer, he will be able to snipe off both these Widow Mines, and he will be able to force back this army quite efficiently. There is a siege tank currently out, but it does not yet have siege mode. I do believe siege mode is on the way. Yes, indeedly do. It is. And it looks like he has completely stopped production as far as Widow Mines go, and he's just transferring right on back to factories, along with a couple of Diamondbacks, but siege tanks mostly. I do believe just because they already have siege mode. It looks like we have the move out from the Zerglings currently happening, and these Zerglings are going to get absolutely destroyed if the Hellions see them and decide to move out, because those Hellions are going to do a crap ton of damage to any amount of Zerglings. And yeah, it looks like both of our players are just going for reasonably standard builds at this point. We have the Spire coming up for LexMillea, which should be no surprise, especially in this game mode where Spire units have been just so much more useful. I mean, the Corruptor got a complete rework, and it's a way cooler unit and way more useful unit right now. The Mutalisk is very important because it can morph both into the Corruptor and the Broodlord. So the Mutalisk is very much the base unit that it used to be back in Brood War. Which is cool. I love that mechanic. I love how the Zerg have this really fast-moving harassment unit that then turns into their 2 big late-game money units. And that's just, it was something so distinctive in the original StarCraft, where if you wanted to go for air late game, you needed to build Mutalisks, and that was just very cool and very fun. It looks like this Diamondback is going to be able to do quite a bit of damage to this one Mutalisk, but it's just not enough. And it does get sniped off quite easily. And oh my god, big hits getting done to the Terran army at this point. 2 siege tanks are going to go down here, which is a lot of money. There are 3 Diamondbacks currently in production right now, so these Diamondbacks are going to be quite nice when it comes to defending his main base, because they are essentially mobile turrets that just shoot very much longer. It's 8 range on these Diamondbacks, which is quite a bit. It's not a crappy amount of range. And I would not be surprised to see them. Yep, there we go. They are converting to stationary mode, and they are going to be able to do a lot of damage to these 2 of these Mutalisks. And there is the second stationary moded Diamondback. And now, of course, you know, they're still not. I think they could still be reworked, and maybe they added a bit of splash damage onto them, and that's just my personal opinion. I mean, I'm not sure if It Who Speaks quite shares that opinion, but Diamondbacks are really expensive when you think about it. They're only 25 gas cheaper than tanks, and they kind of get rolled by Mutalisks at this point. They actually do get rolled quite a bit by Mutalisks, and we can kind of see that happening right now, where they're not quite the anti-air unit that I think At least from when I spoke to AP Speaks, I don't think they're. I don't know. He said he kind of wanted them to act like the Goliath, and they're just not there yet. They're like the Viking. They're going to be very good in the late game against Broodlords and against Corruptors, but up until that point, I mean, they're just crappy against Mutalisks, to be quite perfectly honest. You still need that big Marine Ball if you want to be able to fight off Mutalisks like this. And yeah, we do see Kallen just taking so much economic damage. He's absolutely not going to be able to fight his way back into this. There are enough missile turrets where he will be able to hold his own at this point. However, you know, he is now 34 workers behind, and he just calls the GG because there's really not a whole lot of ways to come back in that. So that was actually a pretty solid win for the Zerg player. Just a pretty solid economic going right for those really big units like the Mutalisk win. And that's kind of what happens when you don't get Marines in the current state of this game. Definitely Diamondbacks. Personally, definitely Diamondbacks should have an AoE. It would be cool to see them get like a chain lightning ish effect, kind of like the Mutalisk bounce, where it just bounces from the first Mutalisk and then half damage to the second one. Half of that, so fourth damage to the third one, and then like an eighth damage to a fourth target. And that'd be kind of cool to see, and call it like refracting beams or something. I'll have to talk to him about that. But anyway, guys, if you like your games commentated, you can send them on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. Also, if you would like to watch any more Boisterous action, you can head over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. If my voice sounds a little bit sick today, it's because I have a really stuffy nose currently. So I'm not able to get all the oxygen I usually get to be extremely excited and be extremely loud. Now, of course, this is going to be the first game out of a new series that I'm going to be doing on One Goal, which will come out every Thursday. Currently, I do believe is my current plan. So there will be a new game debuting about One Goal every Thursday, and it's going to be very cool, and you guys should all keep track of it because this is a great mod, and it's a great kind of public test drum for a lot of players for this game. So anyway, guys, this is Boisterous, signing out.